Shazam! Fury of the Gods is out and in the news, even if it's because The Rock is controlling the DCU, but instead of talking about Black Adam and The Rock's massive ego, let's take a look at Shazam and 10 of the most unstoppable versions of DC's Captain Marvel. I'm Adam Andrews with Top 10 Nerd, and let's jump in, shall we? Coming in at number 10 is William Mar Vel. Every now and then, I have the pleasure of talking about the Amalgam Universe, the place where Marvel Comics and DC Comics finally played nice and mashed up their characters together to give fans some of the coolest, most unique, and most powerful iterations of their favorite heroes. For the Amalgam Universe version of Shazam, I think the two comic book giants made a really cheeky move when they gave us a combination of each of their Fawcett comic character iterations. William Mar Vel, a mix of Billy Batson from DC and Mar Vel of the Kree from Marvel Comics. William here is a young boy that is transformed into a super scientific, energy projecting superhero called Captain Marvel whenever he shouts the word Kree! Now, as silly as it would be to go around shouting Kree, it really just makes sense for this to be the amalgamated version of Captain Marvel and Captain Mar Vel. Captain Marvel was a key member of the JLA, or the Judgment League Avengers. Number 9, Mary Marvel. Mary Marvel isn't an alternate Shazam in the way you might think, meaning she isn't from an alternate universe. Instead, Mary Marvel is part of the Shazam family, arguably one of the favorites of that family. Mary Bromfield was one of several children adopted alongside Billy Batson. In other continuities, she is eventually revealed to be the twin sister to Billy, but just like DC said with their continuity, you can choose whichever one you prefer to believe in. Mary eventually is given powers by her brother Billy and becomes Mary Marvel, or Lady Shazam, fighting alongside Billy/Shazam. Eventually, Mary herself became the new champion of Shazam and gained all the power that Billy once held while he became the guardian of the Rock of Eternity. Mary is one of the longest lasting members of the Marvel family, and as such, she is one hell of a version of Shazam. Coming in at number 8 is Freddy Freeman. If we're gonna include Mary Marvel on this list, Lady Shazam, we have to include Freddy Freeman. Freddy is the best friend of Billy Batson, and arguably the second most beloved member of the Marvel family. Freddy was one of the first people surrounding Billy to be also granted the powers of Shazam. He ended up becoming Captain Marvel Jr., but considering Freddy and Billy are like best friends, could you imagine your best friend being like, hey, so I got these awesome powers and I'm gonna give you access to them, but... and I know you're my best friend, but you have to call yourself me Jr. and be my sidekick. Sorry, loser. I'd be so mad, but at the same time, Freddy did eventually become the next Shazam in the awesome Trials of Shazam story. And I honestly dig the long-haired blonde Shazam. He looks awesome, and he honestly did a pretty good job holding the title. Number 7, just imagine. So, back in 2002, DC teamed up with Stan Lee of Marvel Comics fame, and together they released the Just Imagine series, which is basically DC saying, hey, just imagine if we let Stan Lee come and make a bunch of characters with the basic principles of DC characters, which is such a great idea. One of those characters ended up being Robert Rogers from Just Imagine Shazam #1, and yes, he is Stan Lee's Shazam. When I tell you he is absolutely nothing like the regular Shazam, I ain't kidding. Other than saying Shazam to activate his powers. For starters, he is not a kid. He is actually an agent with Interpol, and he is assigned to the tough agent Carla Noral. Together they go to India to hunt down criminal Gunga Khan. Another big difference is that instead of being powered by the wizard Shazam and 6 gods, he is actually powered by the wizard Merlin of King Arthur legend, with the goal to hunt down Morgana Le Fay, because of course it's Stan Lee. Oh, also, it's worth mentioning that instead of turning into a handsome black-haired hunk, when Rogers yells Shazam, he turns into a big, pink demon that gets a magical power boost, demon wings, super strength and durability, and a lovely little bone necklace. Excelsior! Number 6, Captain Thunder. This is kind of confusing because there are so many versions of Shazam who use Captain Thunder as their name. Basically, Captain Thunder that I'm talking about was William Fawcett, a kid who was given powers similar to Captain Marvel. He received his powers when the shaman Maroki gifted William a belt with a thunderbolt symbol that, when rubbed in combo with the magical word thunder, turns him into Captain Thunder. Unfortunately, after fighting the Monster League of Evil, they gave him an evil persona instead of a heroic one. So, when Captain Thunder first appeared in Superman 276 in 1974, he was helping robbers instead of fighting them. It's only after Superman urges Thunder to use his wisdom to fix what happened and to make it back to his own Earth. There was a much cooler version of Captain Thunder in the Flashpoint timeline with a sweet battle tiger, who is who you'd probably think of when I say Captain Thunder, but I don't want to talk about him, so meh. Number 5. Kingdom Come Shazam. In an alternate possible future, metahumans or superheroes are now hated. Because of this, Billy Batson hasn't become Shazam in years and is now full grown, looking a lot like his alter ego, minus the cool costume and cape and powers and stuff. He was eventually brainwashed by Lex Luthor into believing that metahumans and even the Captain Marvel inside of him are all monsters. In time, Bruce Wayne tries to convince Billy otherwise, which eventually forces him to turn into Shazam once more, breaking open the metahuman prison and starting a massive war that puts the world at risk. After a nuclear device was dropped threatening to kill thousands, Superman convinced Billy to help, and Shazam outraced Superman to the bomb, using his lightning to destroy it, sacrificing himself to save both humans and metahumans, ending the hatred against superheroes once and for all. Good job. Number 4. Earth 5 Shazam. Earth 5, or Earth S if you prefer, is a simpler, kinder world. A world that is more optimistic, a world where the heroes are seen as such with hardly any faults. Basically, this is the golden age of comics, specifically Fawcett Comics, where Captain Marvel is the main superhero, which gives the world the name Thunderworld. He and his family, Captain Marvel Jr. and Mary Marvel, keep the world safe from everything from the Monster Society to aliens. I'm talking like Shazam is essentially taking the place of Superman as the premier superhero of the Earth. This version of Shazam worked together alongside Superman and Overman of other universes to recruit the Supermen of the universe. They all worked together, led by Captain Marvel, to defeat Ultraman and weaken Mandrake, who was killed by the Green Lanterns. Yeah. Number 3. Shazam Who Laughs. After the Batman Who Laughs infects Shazam / Billy Batson with a dark metal virus, turning him into a Joker-like version of himself, he is tasked with infecting Superman with the same Joker dark metal virus. Shazam goes to the Batcave and waits for Superman to show up so he can attack, and Joker Shazam is easily a match for Superman and Batman one-on-one. But with the two teaming up, he's a little overwhelmed and retreats, which is odd because going by King Shazam, he takes on the Titan Atlas trying to test his new abilities and even defeats multiple gods. When he is in a fight with Ares, he even defeats and infects Lady Shazam, so it doesn't really check that Batman and Superman give him that much trouble, but whatever, that's how comics go because Batman and Superman are Batman and Superman. Luckily, he is cured thanks to Lex Luthor cutting off the source of the dark metal, but this guy was nuts and showed no signs of stopping, and that smile? It's creepy. It's just creepy. Don't like it. Number 2. Mazahs. When we first ever meet Mazahs, he is described as the most powerful superhero on Earth 3, the home of the sinister JLA, the Crime Syndicate of America. He was for a long time the biggest threat that the Crime Syndicate of America ever faced, and he has taken the lives of a lot of the CSA's members, using his superpowers. So what are those superpowers? Alexander was just a regular guy, as much as a Luthor can be, until at some point in his life, he figured out how to take the powers of superpowered beings. It seems that the first person who lost their power and their life to Alexander was Will Batson, Earth 3's Billy Batson, which gave Alexander the powers of Mazahs, which is Shazam backwards. Those powers are to call down dark lightning, transforming him into a more masculine being with superhuman strength, durability, flight, electrokinesis, and presumably magic. When he first shows up, he has already stolen the powers of a hero called Hawkwing, who we don't actually know, but he also goes on to take all the Kryptonian-like powers of Bizarro, plus kryptonite immunity, the Firestorm Matrix powers of Deathstorm, Earth 3's Firestorm, the super speed abilities of Johnny Quick, and way more. While the characters he fought were arguably worse than him in terms of their morality, no one from Earth 3 is really good, and he is absolutely terrifying. And finally, in at number 1, it's the God of Gods Shazam. The God of Gods was a side story from Darkseid war centered on the hero Shazam, and sees him gain 6 new gods in place of the original. After the Anti-Monitor killed Darkseid by fusing the Black Racer with the Anti-Life, Darkseid's death caused Shazam's connection to the Olympian gods to disconnect. Shazam's old gods were replaced by new gods, and the new gods included Anapel, the goddess of rebirth, Siva, the god of destruction and strength, Ate, the goddess of impulse, Hronmir, the Martian god of death, Memorgan the wizard, and Zanzu/Yuga Khan, the father of Darkseid. Shazam gaining these new gods' powers makes him incredibly powerful. Yuga Khan said that Shazam can put a hole in the source wall by being empowered by the other 5 gods with the lightning rod, which is incredibly powerful if you don't know. So, long story short, the God of Gods was an incredibly amped up version of Billy Batson's Shazam. And that's all we've got. I'm Adam Andrews, this is Top 10 Nerd, and I hope you enjoyed watching. I'll catch you all on the flippy flop, but for now, peace out, nerds!